The book you're writing and basically the topic behind, which is sex and business. Is that
Yes,
also the title of the book?
that is the title. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would you like to give us some background, elaborate on this book, also why you are writing it, what are
hmm
your perspective is, what your vision is?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, it started out as my reaction to the MeToo movement, and my reaction was that um, I was finding that so there's real sort of sexual violence, sexual harassment that's happening over on sort of this side of things, which is super important to address. People need to speak up. People need to be prosecuted. Like all of this is extremely important. At the same time, there's other sort of stuff over here that sort of bumps up against, so it looks like it, but it's not it. That maybe is like, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. Biology is it's there. It's not going anywhere. People will still meet and like each other. We spend a lot of time at work and with business colleagues. So that's going to happen. I don't think that it's the role of the workplace to write policy out against that. I take issue with some of the reactions that happened because of it, because so people started to get scared. Okay, well, I don't want to have a meeting alone with a woman, because what if something gets said and misinterpreted and then I get in trouble and I'm fired? And so, having a third party present in a meeting. Now, if you and I are going on a business trip, we're not supposed to sit beside each other on the airplane. We can't go for dinner because of whatever. And I'm just adamantly against all of that, because for me, this impedes my relationship building. So I need to be able to go for dinner or for drinks, or if I need to travel with people, I don't want to be impeded by any of that. I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. If somebody is flirting with me and I don't like it, I have no problem to fix that situation. I've never encountered any situation that I couldn't deal with effectively. Um, at the same time, when you are flirting and when you are discussing with people, it is there's something that happens. Like, so there's something nice that happens. Um, Sometimes if there's a bit of an attraction, then that's like an energy that you can channel. And so I think that that's a lost opportunity, where you can take that, and there's like, I think it's called a sexual transmutation, where you can actually take all of that sexual energy you have and like channel it into being more creative and having more energy and motivation. And so you can, like I said, it's a flow trigger, so you can get that report written and blasted out quicker than before. And so there's lots of neurochemicals that can get ignited when you either even just from flirting or all the way to having sex. So yeah, so there's like different types of neurochemicals that get firing in the brain that are a really beautiful thing, and I don't think that people should avoid that. It can help you build your business. It can help you be more creative. I'm talking about also different types of groups, like when I'm talking about feminism, and I bring in all this sort of the infighting within feminism, just to draw people to the point that it's really not about necessarily about men versus women. It's not this gender versus that gender, because within feminism, there's plenty of fighting going on. They don't all agree on what's important and the thing to do either. And with men too, I've had hundreds of conversations with guys, and there's plenty of competition and fighting within males as well. There's a lot of males who struggle with their identity, especially these days, where, okay, so if I'm not the breadwinner anymore, what does that mean for my masculinity? If I can't be aggressive and I can't be assertive, then I don't know what it means to be a man anymore. And so they've got their own stuff. So it's not like it's a solid group of men and a solid group of women and we're like fighting for power. And then I talk about power as well. A lot of the dynamics there about controlling the conversation and how, sex has become more academic in the conversation than anything else. And so that's why there's a lot of talk about different identities and pronouns and things like that. And so it's controlled in a very academic way. And yet, Pornhub is the #1 visited website in the world. Like there's the sheer amount of money that gets spent on sex is indicative to the level of importance. And yet, it's somehow like we're trying to like get that out of the workplace, get that out of business. It's like, I don't see how that's even possible. So I'm talking a lot about different things about negotiation, and how that sort of goes down historically between men and women, and how women can, and I encourage them to be like, if you want to be a feminine woman and wear a skirt and flirt and whatever, like, then do that. And if you want to be that woman that wears a suit and acts like a man, like, do that. It really boils down to choice. Like, do what you want to do. And as long as we're all making, adult decisions, then and dealing with things in a rational way, then I think most of those issues will be solved. I also think that power is not owned by men. Men just happen to grab it. It's there for everyone to take. And I think that women sort of, there's like this self-talk about society tells women, oh, well, you're not confident. Oh, therefore they start acting like not confident. And I've had people come out, oh, Bobbi, well, that's easy for you to say you're confident. I'm not. Like, well, you're not because you say you're not. And it has nothing to do with your gender and everything to do with your personality. And so that's your mindset. It's not, you can blame your gender, but if I am and you're not, then that just destroys the whole gender thing right there. And then so people are like, okay, well, you're tall and you're blonde, so it's easy for you. I'm like, hey, no, because there's some stereotypes about blonde people that's still there, which I don't care. Like, people can think that, go right ahead. As soon as you're going to talk to me, you're going to figure out I'm not that stupid. But it's like there's someone for everyone. So, there's a whole bunch of people who think everybody loves all kinds of people. So there's always going to be someone who desires you. So, don't worry about that. There's someone for everyone. And it really, I know a lot of people that maybe aren't, what do you call it? The beauty standard that a magazine would consider, but I see them and I just think that they are so incredibly gorgeous and they have a personality that kind of like, so you just love them. So it really has very little to do with these false standards of beauty that different types of industries portray. It's more about the people. So it's ultimately about like, let's just get real. It's a real get real, kind of a slap in the face. I'm criticizing women, I'm criticizing men, I'm telling women they're great, I'm telling men they're great. It's like, here's all the great things, and let's just like get over ourselves, and all of this kind of stuff without, again, it's still take seriously these issues over here, the real lawbreakers. That's a different, I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. And just the gray thinking that I can think two things at once. Nothing's binary. You don't need to, your identity can be flexible. Don't let it restrict you. Stuff like that. So that's basically what the book's about. And I hope that a whole bunch of people like it and then a whole bunch of people hate it. Because the idea is, well, there's going to be a lot of people who really won't like a lot of things that I'm saying, and that's okay, because it's I'm not a PhD. I'm not a sexologist. I have an opinion, and I hope that it sparks conversation. If nothing else, just change the narrative of the conversation right now, because it's very much taken over by just like I don't want people to be walking on eggshells anymore. Like, oh, can I? So pre-COVID, let's just step back. Pre-COVID, if we're in the same room, if you touch my arm or if you say something about what I'm wearing, are you going to get in trouble? Like, I just want all of that to just be like, okay, get over it already. If you want to compliment me, go right ahead. If you don't, that's okay too. You know, if you ask me out, I can say no. It's okay. Like, and then we can continue on. We don't need to make a thing out of everything. There's bigger fish to fry.
So basically, the way I understand it is that you write about sex in life, basically, with the focus on business, but about sex in life, what it means, which role it has, without all the taboo around it.
Yeah.
You talk about male abuse and or how it from a position of male abuse maybe now shifts to a position of female abuse. Do I understand it
Well,
correctly?
I'm not using the word abuse, but it's there's definitely a power shift as far as controlling the narrative, and what I consider it to be like three camps of people. So there's, say, the women and men who are talking about the issues that are really salient, that are really real, the sexual harassment, sexual violence, all of this is a real thing. Then there's the people in the middle who are misinterpreting or overblowing certain things, like, oh my god, he put his hand on my knee and I didn't know what to do, and when you could have just dealt with that, and it might not turn into anything. And if that guy happens to ask out every woman that he has a meeting with, I mean, yeah, that guy's got a problem, but it's
Maybe he just likes you in
it
particular.
could be, or
Yeah.
maybe people also, maybe he's got an issue himself, like he feels lonely, he feels something that you don't know about, and he's not going about dealing with his issues in the right way, but that doesn't make him a criminal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so there's some stuff that's in the middle. It's a little bit messy. I'm not saying that there's like a silver bullet fix to this, but I feel like those situations are not the same at level. Could probably be dealt with better a one-on-one locally, and you don't need to ruin each other's lives and make a big public thing about it necessarily. And then there's, unfortunately, another third. Okay, these aren't exact numbers, but there's another section of I would say women that are playing the card when they shouldn't. When they've misinterpreted a situation, such as, I have a male colleague, he got the raise, I didn't, he got it because he's a man, and I didn't get it because I'm a woman, when in fact you could be just incompetent. Like, that is a possibility. And so and then they play the card when they don't know for sure that that's really the issue, and or they know it's not that, but they're playing the card anyways because it's powerful. And it's that group of people that actually ruin it for the people over here that are really trying to do real things. And so I'm talking about all of that. So men do their own side of the abuse, which is they are abusing their power for the purpose of achieving sex. And there's also women abusing now this power as a way to do whatever. So there's some of that going on. I wouldn't say there's a lot of it, but there's too much of it, I guess you could say. And again, it's just, people are just a bit scared and on eggshells. And I think if we just talk out some of this stuff a little bit better, then we can sort of get more clarity. And
Okay. So if I understand it correctly, basically you're talking about a healthy way to deal with sex in business and what
Yeah.
sex means in a non-taboo way,
Yeah.
and which
Yeah.
role it has in our life, and through that automatically in business, outside of abusing the topic, not
Yeah.
necessarily the other person, but the topic
Yeah.
in one way or the other.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Okay.
it's approaches. How
Yes.
we're approaching this. Yeah.
Okay.